So one of the most important parts when we're getting ready to have a big month like this, or honestly any month when you are wanting to build your business, you really want to set these goals every single month. And every month you want to challenge yourself, not just on these big months, but on the big months, you really want to challenge yourself, right? You want to really dream big and think, what am I going to do? Like, what am I going to do with that money, right? So what will you do with that money? Is it going towards your bills to just kind of help you get ahead? That's a good why, right? That's a good reason. Is it going towards Christmas cash? Is it going towards maybe a vacation in the future? Is it going towards something fun to do for your house, like something you've been wanting to do? Maybe it's new furniture, maybe it's addition on your house, maybe it's things like that, right? So you can think about what it is that you're going for. So before Tupperware, when people would ask me what my why was, I would tell them that I wanted to pay my bills. And they would say, no, no, no. What's your big dream? And I'm like, my big dream is to actually pay my bills. And I just kind of got shut down, and and I was just like, okay, well, I really want a house on a lake. Okay, I can't think about a house on a lake when I'm behind on my bills, right? When I'm worried about the gas being turned off, when I'm worried about my phone being turned off, right? So, and it was funny because when I came to Tupperware, in that initial conversation that I had with Pam that you heard me talk about earlier, she asked me, she said, what is your big goal? And I said, I know you're not going to like it. I know it's not something really big and fancy, because I had already been turned down so many times with what my actual goal was and kind of like dismissed for what my goal was. And I said, but I really just need to pay my bills every month. And she's like, that is a fantastic goal. And she's like, and we can make that happen. So don't ever be ashamed of whatever it is that your goal is. Whatever it is, if it's important to you, it's important and it matters, okay? So think about what it is you're going to do with that money. And then think, what is that dollar amount, right? Pam was talking about what was your biggest sales month ever, right? But think about what the paycheck looks like. What's the biggest paycheck that you're looking for out of your sales, right? What does that look like? Is it $1,000 this month or next month? Is it $2,000? What is it, right? Maybe it's $350, right? You've never had a paycheck higher than $350, so you're going for that. That's okay, right? So, and that's what record breaking is about. It's about breaking your record, not the all-time ever record, right? It's your record. So that's the beauty. I love, me personally, I'm competitive with myself. I'm not competitive against other people. I am like, I know I can do better than this, you know, and I'm like, all right, I've done this before. Let's do it again. Let's see what I can do. Can I go further? Can I go higher? Can I do more, right? I'm competitive with myself, but not really with anybody else. So on those pieces of paper that I put on the tables, they're in the center of the tables, that's where you're going to break down your goal. And right now, just think about your income goal, and we're going to break it down for you in just a moment. But what is that income goal? You know, what is your good, better, best, right? You can actually make it a tiered goal, right? Be like, okay, so I really love to make $500, but maybe I could make $1,000. And you're like, what? Oh my gosh, it would be crazy if I made $1,500, right? And you can just kind of scale it up. Then that way it allows you to challenge yourself, right? And it allows you to push yourself. When you hit that first one, you're like, that's kind of cool. Maybe I can go for the next one, right? And so it helps you just kind of pull you to the top. So on the first square, that's your personal goal. All right, so put that there. And then Pam has up, oh, you put this away. Can you go back to that? Mm-hmm. On the opposite corner, on the bottom corner, that is our company goal, is right there. You can put that on there as well. This is our company goal. This is all of us together, right? And it's kind of cool when you see a number like that, and then you see your number in the corner, and you're like, I'm going to be a part of that. You know, I'm challenging myself to sell $1,000 worth of Tupperware. That's $1,000 towards that. And that's kind of cool to be a part of something big like that. I love stuff like that. All right, so so you put that in the far corner, and then if you're a leader, if you're a manager or higher, you have your unit goal on there, right? And then everybody in this room has a director. So talk to your director and say, what's our team goal, right? Because you're helping with that too. And that's the beautiful thing. Just by shooting for your goals, you're helping all these people in between. And then as you rise, you're gonna have people doing that for you, right? So it's really important to think about what those goals are. All right, so on here it has, you know, your personal sales goal, right? So on here you put your personal sales goal on there. You divide it by $500, and that tells you how many average parties you need. Now I'm going to be honest with you. 500 is the Tupperware average. What's your average? Right? What's your average? If your average is 350, scratch out that 500 and put 350. And then you know how many parties you need to do, right? So it's okay if your average is not Tupperware's average. That's okay. You'll get there, right? Maybe we need to tweak the products that you're focusing on. Maybe we need to work on host coaching to maybe get more bodies in the room or online or in the party, right? But don't be afraid to cross that off. If you know you're like, wow, my average is like 300. Cross that off and put 300 there, and then divide that number. It'll tell you exactly how many parties you need to do, right? And then, you know what? You might surprise yourself. You might end up hitting those $500 parties. You might end up hitting $800 parties, and then who knows? You might hit $1,000 party. You're gonna be like, what in the world did just happen, right? All right, so it's important to do that. All right, so also, I want you to think about, once you have that broken down, what kind of parties are these? Are they live parties? Are they virtual parties? Are they fundraisers, right? What kind of events are you going to do? What kind of things are you going to do to get in front of more people? A really cool shift happened in my business when I stopped focusing on what the party sales were, and I started focusing on how many people I could be in front of. And it was an interesting shift for me. And so I started focusing on, I really just wanted to make sure I had 6 people in that room, right? And I'm just like, and then at the end of the week, I would tally up how many people I was in front of. And I included vendor shows, right? And I'd be like, all right, well, I had this many, I did like an average, right? And I'd be like, okay, so, and sometimes, then I started tracking it even, because I wanted to see like, what kind of conversation am I having? What's the outcome of that? You know, so that's food for thought as well. But it's important to recognize where you want these sales to come from. If you want to be book parties, if you want it to be people collecting orders for you, you want it to just be like giving a catalog to a neighbor and saying, hey, can you collect 3 orders for me? Giving a catalog to my, hey, can you collect 3 orders for me? You know, those things add up. And when people have these months, like Loretta was talking about, like Manel was talking about, Nancy, right? There's a lot of planning that goes into that, isn't there? A lot of planning. And you're talking to everybody. And yes, you're holding parties, but you're doing a lot of other activities. You got a fundraiser, I heard her say, right? You had people collecting orders for you. I know you did, right? and Manel probably had all. She probably had a fundraiser, people collecting orders. She had parties. She was out working vendor shows, because I know she works a lot of vendor shows, right? So she had a lot of things going into that really big number. It doesn't have to be all parties. It can be, but honestly, if it's only parties, you might be missing out on some really great sales that are out there from a little bit here and a little bit there. All right, so you want to think about what kind of parties you want to host. You know, are they mystery host parties where you're kind of the host doing all the host work, right? But then you're giving away the host credit, right? So you're doing the inviting and you're doing the hustling and you're doing all that stuff, right? Is it going to be a party like that? Is it going to be an open house, a survey party, right? You can pull a survey party together really quick. Be like, hey, I've got this really cool fridge smart. Can I come over to your house and show you how it works? And you just fill out a survey for me, right? And you go over, you talk about the fridge smart for 5 minutes. You have them fill out a survey about whether or not they feel like they can use it. And you pass out catalogs. Oh, we do have some sales this month if you're interested. I'm doing a mystery host party. You'll go into that. You might earn the host credits, right? So there's so many different things that you can do, but you need to map it out and you need to plan it out. So open your mind and think like, wow, I've never done a mystery host party. Maybe I'll try that. Never done an open house. Maybe I'll try that, you know, and just try something new and see what happens. And just make sure that you kind of have it and pad it, right? You want to pad it. If you want to hold 10 parties, you need to date like, I don't know, 14, right? And you know what happens is that like, as you get better and better, you're going to have a month where you date those 14 thinking 4 more are going to fall away and all 14 happen. And then you date more into the month and you're like, what's happening? Right? Because you started the month with 14 and then nobody canceled, and then you dated more parties within that month, and you're just like, I need help, right? But it's such an amazing thing that happens when you get that momentum going. And these are the type of months that you can use what Tupperware's offering to gain that momentum. You know, when you think about it, it's like a slingshot, right? You pull back, right? And the tension's there. That's what's happening when you're doing a whole bunch of parties in a small amount of time. The tension is there, and you let go, and it flies, right? You have that momentum going. You're dating parties from parties from parties, and you just keep going. So fill those out and dream big about how much money you want to make, what you're going to do with that money, right? And if it's something material that you're buying, go shopping, right? Go online. How much is it going to cost me? What color am I going to get? What's it going to look like? How big is it going to be? Maybe it's a TV. How big is the TV going to be, right? You know, getting ready to watch some football on a great big TV. That's fun, right? You know, and just figure out what it is, but really put as much, like flesh out what it is that you're going to use that money for as much as you possibly can. And if it is to pay bills, then you can just like make a list of the bills that you're paying and be like, and then put beside them 0 and be like, wow, look, I paid all these bills. Look at that. My balance is 0 on all these bills. How cool is that, right? All right, so dream big and go ahead and write those things down so you have it in front of you and you can keep looking back at it. Right?
Oh, yay.